everybody. Welcome to another episode of Wellness Blueprints. I'm Jess Milner. I'm so glad you're here to nourish your roots with me. And today, this weekend is Valentine's Day. It is my most favorite holiday. I know it's not everyone's favorite holiday. People have their opinions about it and everything. So maybe you don't like it, maybe you do. But nevertheless, we talk a lot about love and hearts and heart health. I used to do like a whole month of like talking about different things with heart health and everything. And the last couple of years, I've kind of focused it a little bit more in on the energy work side of it because really, your heart center, it has your actual physical heart and it is actually an energy center also. And of course, these things all go together and they all align. So let's talk a little bit about this, okay? So, with emotion code, one of the most common walls would be a heart wall that we would look into. It's kind of like you might have heard it in other energy work centers where they say things like, you've got a blockage for this, like a financial block or, whatever, something like that. And really, it's all the same type of thing. So what we're looking for is basically a wall of emotions. So at some point, something hurt you probably when you were little, who knows, something hurt you. And as a result, there is layer upon layer of emotions over the heart. And it's just one of the most common places to have it because when do we do this to ourselves? When do we feel like we need to protect ourselves? When we are really, really, really hurting. And it's typically your heart center, your heart chakra, your emotional center that is affected during that time. This is where depression is going to be. This is where you're going to feel like betrayal, abandonment, and lots of grief. That underlying feeling of I'm not supposed to be happy, everybody else gets everything but not me, that kind of a thing. And all of your energy centers are connected to a gland. This one is connected to your thymus gland. So when you are, when you have all of these layers, and basically these layers being there in the way, they're making it very, very difficult or even impossible for you to give and receive love, having this blocked off. And what happens with that? Well, that's going to affect your thymus gland. I'm not sure if you know this, but your thymus gland is a gland that produces things like T cells, which are really, 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 really important for your immune system. So when your thymus gland is sad, it's tired, it's blocked, it's not getting the emotional, energetic flow that it needs to, you might be getting sick. You might be getting all the little sickies that are coming in, if you've ever had a time of like really huge stress, really, really upset. I remember, I got really sick after I was pregnant with my girls and like had this whole big thing. Like, I cried for like 3 weeks straight. I'm not going to get into the entire story right now, but I cried for like 3 weeks straight. And then I ended up with like a hell of a cold. And, it was really all, it was a grieving process when you were crying for several weeks. This could happen. If you've ever lost somebody very close to you and then you were very upset. And then next thing you know, you're like, oh, wow, now I got a freaking cold and I got to go to the store and get some medicine, this is it's not like yes, your immune system was down, you were more susceptible to things, you were just more susceptible to all these toxins coming out, but this also has to do with that heart center. And I'm not telling you that like you can't feel these things, because of course all of our emotions are signals, and they have very like they're very important. So, but they can be misread. We can misread a signal, So when we feel, like sometimes people see like, oh, Valentine's Day is coming, but I don't like Valentine's Day. I don't like it. Valentine's Day is stupid and it was made by the Hallmark company. And then you're genuinely upset that the holiday even exists. So there's people that have things like that. And then there's other people who are just like, I don't celebrate it. I don't care. I'm not talking about that. But sometimes these things can get so ingrained in there that every time something comes up, we fall into this pattern or loop. And really what it's coming down to is that feeling, that grief, that grieving feeling of, well, I'm not supposed to be happy. Everybody else gets to be happy, but I don't get to be happy. So screw everybody else. And I think everybody kind of feels like that every now and again, because, like everybody's probably at one time or another been, in the frame of mind to sing like, no one likes me, everybody hates me, think I'll eat some worms. I don't even know if those are the right words. That's just how I sing it in my head. But anyway, everybody has like your moments of like, ugh, this sucks, all this stuff is going on. So when we clear those things out, when we can remove those things from the way, it can help you start to notice when that trigger happens. You can start to notice, go, wait a second, why do I feel this way about this thing? And it doesn't have to just be about Valentine's. It can literally be about anything in the entire world. But when you notice something is triggering you to make you feel a certain way, when we are working on things like this, removing those layers, it helps to reveal who you actually are underneath. And the first sign of that is you noticing when you are being tossed into a pattern, a loop. Like, I hate everything that has to do with this holiday, or I hate everything that has to do with this. Uh, it sends you into that. And when you can start to recognize that, then you can start to breathe. I mean, you may not start, you're not going to change your mind necessarily on the thing. I'm using the Valentine's Day analogy here, example rather, but it could be literally anything that kind of like gets under your skin and everything. When that emotional center is full of gunk, your emotions are gonna be liars an awful lot, because you're gonna feel them and just think that, oh, well, like it's doing, like this is how I feel and I'm justified in feeling this way. But really, you're not. You were justified in feeling that way another time many years ago. But now that is not true anymore. So we need to recognize the pattern so that we can just go, oh, okay, maybe I don't need to feel that way this time. It's the same thing as when I say, if you have lots and lots of anger layered, lodged in your liver, or wherever it is, most of the time it's in the liver, okay? But if you have lots and lots of anger lodged in you, then when a situation presents itself that you could possibly be angry as a result of, you are more likely to go right back to that because it triggers you, it throws you right into that loop and makes you angry. So if you think of somebody who's like a hothead, like always like, oh, well, they get mad at the drop of a hat, that kind of a thing. There's lots of anger that's layered on there. So the same kind of thing, when you have lots of layers of these things like grief and abandonment and betrayal, all these things in your heart center there, that is going to make you just feel like, okay, well, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be depressed about this. This is going, my joy is gone. There is none. There is no joy. So there's an energetic side to your heart as well. And, I mean, in my family, we try to pay attention to heart health. My grandparents, my dad, they are folks who would regularly see a cardiologist. Okay. So, it's always been a thing of mine. If you see, my logo for Deep Rooted Wellness is a baby hawthorn tree. Because hawthorn is such a wonderful herb for your cardiovascular system. It will help to lower your blood pressure and things like that. So it's always been a favorite of mine. So on that note, we want to go through and do these energetic things so that we are getting rid of these, getting rid of these layers that are standing in the way of us recognizing our patterns so that we can make them better and, calm that shit down so that, we can see things in a different way and be able to grow rather than staying stuck in the exact same, set in my ways kind of a thing. We're able to grow, we're able to evolve. So that is very important. And it's also very important to, have physical nourishment as well. You want to have your spiritual nourishment and you want to have your physical nourishment as well. So I got to chat a little bit about this for the heart. So of course, as a nutritionist, like I love to tell people it's very important that you do eat your plant foods, your herbs. Plants are medicine. It is important that we get lots of them in there. Now, I have a colleague that was telling me, she said, you need to eat 30 plants every week. And when you think of that, you go, oh my gosh, 30 plants every week. Because your brain automatically goes to like, well, like, all right, so like broccoli and snap peas and like, I mean, rice, is that a plant? You're starting to think like, oh my gosh, how am I going to eat 30 different plants a week? Don't forget about your herbs and spices. They're medicine. These are natural medicines, and they were put on this earth for a reason. Okay. So, as far as plant foods go, when you want your heart to be super happy, let's nourish that heart. Don't forget about wonderful things like garlic and ginger and turmeric, beets. Oh my gosh, beets are so good for your heart. Those things that are red in color. Okay. But then also your other leafy greens, your chard and things like that. Those are good for your heart too. But berries, you see lots of strawberries right now, or even raspberries. Oh my gosh, they had raspberries. The Driscolls made them. They made the container into a heart. So you can just like take these raspberries. It's so cute. And probably charge like $5 more. But berries are not in season right now, but berries are very good for your heart. Berries in general, you see lots of strawberries, like I said, raspberries, blueberries. Blueberries are so good for you. These are plants as well. Also, I mean, don't forget about stuff like cinnamon. Obviously, we mentioned hawthorn. Hawthorn tea is fantastic. And hawthorn tea, because it's very, very diluted, it's not like a huge, it's not like taking like a Medi herb supplement or something like that. It should be much more concentrated, and make sure you have to tell your doctor that you're taking that, that kind of thing. But hawthorn tea is, it's a lot more diluted and everything. So that could be something to drink a couple times a week to help with, like, to just encourage your body to have good blood pressure. But don't forget about other things, rosemary, even cilantro, cardamom. Like, there's so many spices and stuff that are actually really, really good for your heart. They're great for blood pressure. They're great for cholesterol and all kinds of stuff like that. Add these things into your food because they give your food flavor, and they give your body the nourishment and the tools that it needs. We need to detoxify things. We need to make sure we're getting the correct minerals and vitamins so that our body can perform its normal functions. Like on a given day, if you're not getting all of your vitamins and minerals in the capacity that your body needs it, there are going to be functions that you won't know it, but your body puts on the back burner. And then as a result, over time, that turns out to be a much bigger issue. So by adding in these things and making sure that we are acknowledging our emotions, because our emotions are very important, but they are signals, and sometimes they can send us in the wrong direction if we misread those signals. And we are programmed to misread those signals for the most part. So if you find yourself feeling depressed, getting sick a lot, having trouble with relationships, not even just romantic relationships. This can literally be a relationship with anyone, because we're supposed to give and receive love in some capacity in pretty much any relationship that we have with any person. So, if you're having issues like that, things like working on heart walls through emotion code, working through body code, and making sure that you are not taking, but just adding to your food deliciousness that is going to actually help to support all of these functions, particularly those ones in the heart, then you're going to have a very healthy heart, and it's going to be fantastic doing all the things that you can do to help your body be as amazing as it should be while you're here. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I want to wish you a happy Heart Month and a very happy Valentine's Day. If you like sparkly hearts like me, then this is your weekend to shine, and it's going to be great. So please enjoy. If you don't celebrate, that's okay too. You do you, and have a great weekend, and share this with somebody who maybe is a little bit sad, maybe just needs to kind of look at things in a little bit of a different way, or somebody who is just really interested in heart health. And maybe, not everybody shares the energetic side of your heart health, and that it is a very, very big part of it. There have been, not just with heart health, but in general, lots and lots of my clients come to me because, they're doing all of the things physically and still not getting to the place that they want to be, because this is that missing piece, and it really should be the first one. But here we are. So go ahead and share this. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for stopping in. I love you guys so much. My heart to yours. Have a great week. Bye.